Hello. So as I've got myself a nest egg of around 5 mil gold, I'm going to start saving up crafting mats to try and get some upgrades on the pieces that really do need it. Seeing as this is a private server, it's essentially solo self-found for the most part, because of the limited player base. Obviously the auction house doesn't fill up too often, but things probably lacking most is going to be vitality and crit damage. If anyone can remember vanilla, you can see that I'm missing 22 there, 10 crit there, 1 crit there, maybe some attack speed depending on what braces you end up getting. Min-max attack speed and crit damage on rings. I did recently pick up this, which I actually never saw in all of my time playing vanilla. So that was new, and it was a partial upgrade, which is nice. Later on though, the other one I've got, if I do have late game gear, will probably be more of an upgrade because it's essentially a trifecta with the poison damage. Yeah, kind of. So what I'm going to do is get farming on the mats. Mainly I'm going to be needing exquisite essences, which are not very easy to make, or even, get. What we're going to be looking to get is hopefully a chest piece, get that over 200 strength, maybe sockets. Same with the helmet, it's only got 74. It's higher in other base stats for different classes, so it's still worth keeping. It's got armor and life. Amulet, I'm still... just was by chance I found this one, but I'm yet to find anything better. What else are we looking for? Belt's okay-ish. Legs are okay, could do 2 sockets. Boots are okay, no movement speed. And gloves are as well. Shoulders are okay. Offhand is good, still no sockets on either of them. And belt is, I think I already went through belt. And obviously the ring, yeah. So we're going to be looking at hopefully eventually finding some sort of weapon socket. Weapon socket? Socketed weapon. And crafting on this server is a tiny bit different in the fact that you used to, in Inferno, have these drop. On this server they've slowed down the curve a little bit to make only chip gems drop, which means you still have to farm the pages. Oh, they've disappeared now. Or did they? Nope. Pages used to only drop in Nightmare, same as Blacksmith and Pages, but they did change it so that they still drop in Inferno. So you don't have to go back to Hell and Nightmare just to farm up your pages, just to craft your gems. So that was... it's a touchy subject on the server, but I understand the reasoning. They wanted to slow down the curve in which players hit late game gems. Even though the fact that socketed weapons with black damage, obviously these, like, the difference being if you look at these two and this one, these two have elemental, that one's fire, and this one is lightning damage, and that one there is just max and minimum damage. If you look at the items where it says adds a certain percentage of certain damage, so on that weapon you've got lightning and holy, you've got cold and fire, all of these attribute to black damage weapons. So essentially you end up with an extra 50% damage just from these items here, adding all of their percentages on top of it. But they don't apply to elemental damage weapons. I'm not 100% sure if, say for instance, what have we got? Lightning damage on the chest. I'm not sure if that applies to the lightning damage on the weapon or not. But either way, it's generally better to go for a black damage weapons, even though the one-handers for elemental have a higher chance of rolling higher, which is a bit of kick in the teeth, but either way, that's just the way it is. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna commence farming of all my materials, and then we'll have a nice crafting session. and I decide at the time what I do a mass craft of, depending if I've got the 6 attribute recipes for them. Right, see you then. Okay, so we we did some farming, and we made a couple of boo-boos along the way. The first boo-boo would have been this. If you scroll back to the beginning of the video when I pathed through my items, I did have relatively okay boots, and I logged on today to see my damage was much lower than usual, and there's either a bug where they replaced them from my inventory, I'm not entirely sure, or I managed to salvage and replace my boots with whatever these are. And just now I salvaged my other weapon. So I've got this nice intelligent spear to replace it, and with Weapons Master obviously I did have a mace in there which gave me the 10 crit chance. Now I've got a spear which only gives me attack speed, and I think I'm past the threshold of needing the attack speed, so I've just made a nice massive loss on 2 massive screw-ups. I do have the recipe, where is it? There it is, for the 6 properties mace, and I do have 6 properties boots, so this is coming a lot sooner than I hoped it would. I didn't get as many materials as I wanted to, but it's kind of lowered my damage too much for me to ignore the need to replace these boots. So the crafting session is going to be a bit less than it was originally. I can do 30. So hopefully we can get I mean, we're guaranteed we're going to get an upgrade for these. Funnily enough, I have no boots in my inventory, in my stash, sorry, that give strength. They're all decks, you know, for alts and such. So just going to do 5 at a time, ID them, and pray to God that RNG helps us. So there's an instant upgrade, an embarrassing instant upgrade. Yeah, maybe I can use those on someone and they'll probably go cheap. I like to keep certain items that roll good starter stats. I can post them in the auction house for anyone who's freshly hitting 60. Oh, I can't salvage those. My bad. Yeah, I'd like to post auctions nice and cheap for people who've just hit 60 so that they can get some good starter gear so they can farm a little bit easier. Oh, I'm so not going to get an upgrade, I know it. Just karma's going to punish me. God. Right, so there. Trash. 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 What are all these rolls? And probably another pair I can sell as a starter pair for whoever needs. I'll only put them up for like 5 to 10k, because most people have 60, 70k as soon as they hit 70, 60. So it helps them out if they need it. I'm really struggling in finding a lot of legendaries. I have recently come across a build which I'm going to make a video on for boss farming with the barbarians, which I didn't actually see back in the day. I mean, it's quite a straightforward build, but it does speed up the kills a lot. Yeah, those are okay. They do have the % cold damage. They're all rolling armor as well, which is, well, they're not all rolling armor. Get rid of those and I'll keep those. Someone can have those. Let's get rid of these as well. And what do we do? We're selling these, aren't we? Keep getting phone calls. Come on now. Oh! Those are okay. I do... Stop calling me. I do lose the percent. So if you look here, so I do get a boost in strength, but I lose the added fire damage. So I may not. So 86.7, 86.3. You see, I lost... I did lose a small amount of damage there. Just a little bit of proof for the black damage weapons. So the 5%... I'm still getting calls. The 5% damage actually does attribute to the black weapons. So you'd assume my damage would go up with the bonus in strength, but 86.7, 86.3. But the stats on those are much better than not. Those are okay. Those, I mean, those will help someone. Even the lower level requirement helps. So we'll get rid of those. Those are kind of meh. Get rid of those, and then we'll finish up the last 10. You never know, we might get even luckier. 3, 4, and 5. There we go. Bit of trash. Bit of trash, bit of trash, bit of trash. Oh! 240 and 40 vit, all res and armor, and percent cold damage. Those are very nice. I'll be keeping those for when I roll Wizard or Witch Doctor, so put those there. I didn't actually have an int pair, I don't think, ready to go, so that's very nice. Well, let's put those other ones in there to sell as well. Shame they weren't strength, but hey ho. As I make more videos for this server, I will be keeping all the mats and saving up more. I'll do a larger crafting session in future. Maybe 50 at a time, maybe even 100, depending on how much I save up. But looks like we got pretty unlucky on the last lot. They're all quite trash. Yeah. So I will be saving up some more mats. I've still got plenty iridescent tears left over. Just once again, exquisite essences are the shortfall of crafting. Store those. I am quite happy with those though. They did roll quite well. There's obviously no movement speed. Movement speed's quite a luxury on the server. But for now I guess these will have to do. So my farming route for this has been going to the Ruin Cistern and just clearing all the way through, get to the end, port out, change quest and remake the game so that I can just farm it over and over, because it's very nice density in here, it's very linear, it's got the same layout. I mean, vanilla did have the same layout, it wasn't randomized as far as I can remember. I think that was only introduced in patch 2.0. So yeah, the next thing I'm probably going to be crafting, I don't know if I'm going to craft a weapon, I might just hope and hold out, keep farming, hope for a weapon with a socket, because crafting them, that weapon crafting is much more expensive than armor crafting as far as I know. I think it's 48 per 6 48 exquisite essence per 6 affix weapon. 6 affix, it is affix, yeah. So this will have to do for now. Maybe I'll get something with a socket. I'm almost there with the gems. I'm working on my first star gem, the 70% gem as far as I know. And yeah, so I will see you in the next video. The next video I think will be a build video. Hopefully now I've got enough vitality to survive the hits from the bosses, or whichever boss I choose. And I will see you then.